Oh, that does get picked up by the mic. Neat. Oh wait, I forget that I can actually do everything just right on my Stream Deck now because I finally set everything up. Don't ask what I was doing while we were waiting. I don't really know. I just noticed that I had the ball and chain equipped and started spinning it because it was fun and went along with the music. Anyway, there's not really anything else going off that. Welcome in. I hope everyone's having a good night. Nice CI and also you to stuff. We're probably going to no, not probably. We're definitely going to finish this tonight because I have no idea how to actually make this game stretch out any further. Is part of it because I want to be done with having to deal with motion controls a little bit. It's good in theory, but I think for Wii games that, aside from the late generation games that realized nobody actually really gives a flying fuck about the motion controls and started just being like, yeah, turn the Wii remote sideways. We're using this like a glorified NES controller. Or, yeah, connect the nunchuck, and one of the sticks of the DualShock is being used for the pointer. The other one is the nunchuck's actual joystick. We've added some motion control for things that we absolutely cannot put on a button because we're out of them. What I'm trying to say is the end of the Wii's life cycle was a really funny section where more and more games just stopped doing anything with the motion gimmick. Like, not even anything uninteresting. It just didn't have it all. Anyway, we're going to throw an imp at the problem that is the blockade to the final dungeon, and I'm sure she's doing fine. I'm sure she's not having an absolutely horrible time with the curse. Okay, nah, that. Damn. Last time a character got thrown around that much, it was Wind Waker, and that was played for laughs because every character in Wind Waker, holy shit. Yeah, maybe this is another reason why most people love Midna, because hell yeah. Hey, Minx.
Minx_milk is first in the stream.
Congrats on being first. Hope you're doing well. Yes. I wonder how many people went into this final dungeon thinking that Midna would just absolutely pop the final boss like she did with Zant. Like, actually popped. Because that is like not quite up there with Kirby final boss Eldritch nonsense, but it's getting there. Oh yeah, and the gates. I think they're. Thanks for that, Slaps. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day, and it's been good for you. Wait, can I just bust it? Nope, I cannot. I cannot equip the ball and chain. I was hoping I'd just bust it down like Breath of the Wild. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be streaming right now because the short version is a lot happened, and I'm pretty sure I don't actually have energy. I'm just riding the. Oh, I never noticed that. They're like that. This would be the area for a full Triforce decoration, but it's only got one piece of it. And, oh wait, no, they're okay. That's fun. There's 3 pieces. It's just that there's the middle one that I'm sure there's probably some minor detail. It's like, yeah, that one's specifically the one of wisdom. Doing TTRPG. Oh, I hope that goes well. You're playing the Animon story, basically Digimon but tabletop. So I'm always a fan of games that are like, yeah, we really like this stuff, but we've decided to make our own RPG instead of just making a splat book or source book for it in an existing one, because that way we can make sure we get everything we want it to have. All right, get in here and fight me. But yeah, no, the short version of what's going on with me is week spent a lot. Last week spent a lot. Week before that wasn't really a lot, but it ended with a lot. So I'm pretty sure part of the reason that I was tired is that I just kind of didn't realize how much was going on. Didn't notice it, and then just kept on flopping down. Ooh. So, something broke. And now we're just riding whatever excess energy off of that, which I'm pretty sure is like pure adrenaline. I don't really need the energy drink I have here, but we have it anyway, because why not? Ooh, mitosis. That was a lot of Boblican, or I know that there's like a slight difference in what they're called, that the more cartoony games, I think Skyward Sword started calling them Boboclins. And then there's something more goblin adjacent for them in this game based off of their design. They're also... Oh, no, these things are just actual late game enemies instead of those things which were on the towers, which were fightable since like the beginning. I kind of like how when that happens, when you have one enemy that's like, yeah, no, it's fine, just keep throwing it at them. Haha. Wait, do I even need these boars? Yes. All right, let's go, Parker. Good job. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to remember more about what, or anything close to what I was talking about tonight. I'm not planning on it, and actually never have planned to. We need to stop crashing the boar. So if I like get way off the topic and don't answer something, or you want more information on something I just wandered off from, please remind me, because I will not remember other way anyways. And I think that boar has a concussion. Let's grab another one. Oh, that's the return trip boar. Okay. I'm now realizing that one of the rants I had very early on in playing this was that Oh, wait. I see. Is that the game tends to, really has a problem with abandoning dungeon items quick. Like, you use it for... Oh, wait, that's genius. I understand the puzzle here. There, and there. Because it'll go through one to get there. Okay, not the puzzle. Next thing, what's on the ground? Hey, Mecca. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Alright. So my first thought is I want to get high. The second thought is that I should probably get high up to see what's going on. Let me start by shooting that. Yeah, I want to add that. Oh, thanks, Mecca. I did not notice. Now there's two, and that's all right. Right. Oh, wait. I see. So, 1, 2... Oh, man. Yeah, man, I just figured it out. There. Nope! I need the last one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 200 is next. Well, I suppose 201 is the true milestone, but we probably won't remember it. I mean, you know it's going to be awful. Or at least stupid. God, they up. I feel like the companions talking about how, or who always bring up what the solution to the puzzle is after you've gotten all the pieces and just need a moment to put it together. It's like the same sort of thing of yellow painting where just anything you can interact with is painted yellow. In that I 100% believe that it's like, all right, they have everything at this point, so we're going to pop up the little thing that lets them know they have everything. So if they don't want to figure out, or if they get stuck or can't figure it out, the option is just there. Thanks, Mecha. Now 202 is the milestone. I don't make the rules, I just forget them. Wait, I think that's the one. Oh, right, those are bomb barrels. Neat. Oh, we've now officially said 200 extremely dumb things. I'm both shocked that I haven't been chased off the internet before. Wait, what? Oh, that was a dungeon map over there. Which doesn't mean that direction is completely optional for the entire game. Like, you can complete this entire section entire dungeon without going down there. Oh, thanks. I also miss my streams because it's really annoying to not be able to stream when you have absolutely no energy to do so, like, repeatedly. Really, after a point, it was more... My bigger issue is more that it just kept on happening. Like, I'd get home and I'd fall over and not really have the strength for pretty much anything. But also, I do enjoy streaming, so it's nice to be able to do that. Oh. Yeah. But there's also the thing that after a certain point, just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, it stops being rest. Because, like, I tried a bunch of things. I took some sleep aids a couple of times over the past few weeks. And also tried sleeping earlier because I thought it was just, oh yeah, physical exhaustion. I just gotta rest. The only thing that happened with that is I woke up a number of hours earlier that was directly proportional to how earlier I went to bed. Like, I was just, nope, sleep wasn't the issue, it's something else. Which on one hand meant that I got to just spend like a couple hours before I went to work sitting around playing video games, which on some level was nice. It at least tampered down the whole, man, I really don't want to be at work. I really kind of want to be at home doing anything else. But then I realized that it's still true. I would still rather be home than at work, because work. Nobody enjoys it. That's why they have to pay you. Is that all of them? Yes. I know in theory that what you should be doing there is something like a big a big climatic melee against multiple combatants, but with that many at once, it's kind of easier to just spin to win. Aha! I know what to do here. Oh, sweet, I don't have to, wait. That's a bush. I thought that was a well with a rock in it. Ah, well. Oh. You. A bush. A surprisingly bomb-resistant bush at that. Like, goddamn, they need to pay their gardeners more, because that bush ate an entire bomb and did not move. Yeah, enjoy the shower. Get wet. You. Again. For the 4th time. Somehow. Oh, I guess we're dueling. Oh. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of love this for the sheer reason that this dude is one of the few people who's big enough that it's super easy to land some of your cooler swords moves on. Except for that one. That one would have been better in the multiple person melee, except for the fact that I got hit like immediately and couldn't. Live wet reaction. Also, this dude is like indestructible. Enough. He just hands it to you. Like, see ya. Follow the strongest side is all I've ever known. I swear, Link, he spoke. Midna did not know he was even intelligent. Like, there is so many just small little moments in this that have something like that. Live wet reactions, me when it's practicing golf in the rain. Ah, that's where the rain went. It was like going to rain by here earlier, and then it like just didn't. Oh, stairs. So I was wondering where that blew off into. But good to know. It was entirely localized over your local driving range. Got it. Nice. Love all the little chests, because I remember hearing something that, like, the big problem of Breath of the Wild and why weapon durability is just permanently in that type of game style is simply because they want to have those chests everywhere to reward the player for them. But to reward the player for exploring. But they also made the executive decisions that bombs are no longer a mechanic. Those are either on your infinite use Sheikah Slate runes, or they moved to bomb flowers, which have to be harvested underground. Also, the fucking vibes of this place is with all the like it. I don't know. This feels like a game that got Palace vibes down. And I absolutely love it. Like, the Wii to me is such a oh wow, I just interrupted tangent with a tangent with a tangent. This is going to be a night of all time. And I missed. There's a lizard right there on the ground. And I missed. Alright, get back on the ground. I'm sick of you. All right, let me try to complete one tangent at a time. The problem with Breath of the Wild is that there used to be a ton of resources to reward players for exploration, right? You had basic resources like bombs and arrows, which are now moved to specifically to shops. Like, they just fundamentally can be gotten nowhere else but shops. Then you have pieces of heart, which were completely replaced with the various orbs. Then there's rubies, which are of questionable use because now most of what you actually need or want, there's a couple big ticket items like armor sets, which is a whole other thing. But largely, aside from arrows and bombs, there's not a ton of stuff to buy. Bread. Huh. Wait, I love this one. You have light the torches. Oh, no, I thought that one was... There's a couple times where they do, instead of having to light the torches, you have to bomb, not bomb, but remove them instead. Yeah, the bomb emote's one of my favorites just because that's a joke from pretty much the first game that I streamed about how I would just... Wind Waker specifically has a bunch of really weird sections where you have to like precisely throw a bomb and either land it on a very narrow ledge or or let it make it blow up in midair. So I just hold it. That entire emote is about how... Oh, sweet, another Dark Nut. I love these things. Ha, countered. Is basically just... That's how I've solved everything. Oi. My big problem with shield attack is that... There we go, got a combo. Is I'm not sure how to hit it off without it becoming a spin attack. What was I talking about? Oh right, Breath of the Wild. So basically, because of their own design sense of making it so you can't just cut grass to get basic resources like arrows and bombs, partially because they removed a bunch of limits, so there's no longer... get your helmet cut off. So like there's no longer a meaningful cap of like how this game you can only carry like 30 arrows until you do a side quest to get a bigger quiver. That's it. Which in hindsight they probably could have just done that, but I don't know, freedom of exploration or some nonsense. There we go. Ow. And then he throws a sword, and I love that they have a boss that feels... I hate to say this because it's like the comparison everyone makes, but it does feel like a Dark Souls sort of thing. Mostly in that it's a very clear duel between two swordsmen. Especially especially considering it's one that really encourages you to go out of your way to throw out every single hidden skill that you've learned in the game. Like, to the point where you can sort of do it without. But if you know how to land and consistently get out things like Mortal Draw, Helm Splitter, and all those other ones, it becomes so much easier. Boots. Yeah, the iron boots are fun. Just because they make a lot more sense in Twilight Princess. They don't make as much sense in Wind Waker. Like, they're used for one kind of niche thing. But they get a lot of creative use in this game. Hang on. Is there like a hidden one of these? I know. I wish the ball and chain. Oh yeah, no, for sure. If anything, now that I think about it, so I know this is definitely just series nostalgia, but it would have been fun to have the iron boots in like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Like, they had an entire boots-based mechanic. They could have. Wait. I know. This was the only one lit. Yep. Yep. This entire thing is not actually isn't actually oh yeah, you have to get the staircase, assemble the staircase thing. It's just you have to light that, hit it, and then jump on here. I do like the lateral thinking of like, hey, there's a one definite answer to this puzzle here, and you're going to have to think. If you don't think we've given you enough information or tries, you're going to have to get creative. Oh, right. There's a reason there's a pool of free lantern oil in the last room. Because I don't actually think... There's probably a solution to this. Alright. I think it's this one. That one. But one of these takes a while to... Alright. This one last. Like, one of these takes a long while to burn out. The other one burns out immediately. Alright, I'm just going to put these both out, see which one burns out first. Right. This one, that one, that one, that one. Nope, I got the last two. I got the last two backwards. This one. This one. That one's the one that burns out immediately. I think there's actually a thing that tells you like what the order is or alludes to it, but I've always just done it through process of elimination. Because I'm 100% the type of person that when doing an escape room and they have the whole you must solve this in order, or like solve these puzzles to get the key combinations to do this, I'm the person who looks at it and says, all right, it's a 4-digit combo lock. We only need 3 of the digits, so we find which one's easier and then brute force the last ones. If we get really stumped, we can also just brute force the last 2, because that's not that many combinations. Okay. Ah. A shortcut switch. Which actually kind of makes logical sense. It is just out of the way, hidden, recessed, and I don't think any royal family members are going to go down there. Was this one of the... No, this one just had the boss key. I'm trying to think, because there was a... It was like... Oh, wait. Ah, no. Mini boss fight, not the thing that I thought it was. Cool dodge. Like, Skyward Sword, that's when the series started going, hey, you know what's going to be great? How we can fill out treasure chests? We're just going to split the boss key up into multiple places, so you have to go find it. Make up on a lack of key items. I wonder. Nope. I'm like, hey, can I weigh myself down with the boots in order to get him off balance? But no. That is not a if you're heavier than this enemy based off of internally stored weight values that we will give you a free grapple them over to you. Which, oh wait, I came from there. But I think this game only had it from... oh, hey, Blue Ruby. Worth 5. How nice. I only had it for the Goron Mines. Yeah, small key. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that they just didn't have for Breath of the Wild. Like, there was no dungeon keys, which kind of makes sense given the way that it is. Ah. Oh. 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 Oh, right. I swear, there's something about the Wii era that every one of Nintendo's internal development studios, like, we're just going to go really hard. Because, yeah, they just show up here with a fucking medieval bazooka. They're like, we gotcha. You might be storming the entire fucking castle, but you don't have to be a one-man army. I'm gonna be honest. I like Twilight Princess's companions more than I like Tears of the Kingdom's companions, because they kind of feel like they do more. Because Tears of the Kingdom, sure, they're very much involved with their entire plot and dungeon. But these guys, I don't know, they just... Oh, thanks for working, Whisper. I hope you're having a good day. It just feels like they do more. That they... not really get around. I do want to check the other side of this because I'm curious. Or maybe they make a bigger impact and probably a bit of nostalgia. Like, that is something that you have to look into, that you're going to have a bigger you're going to mentally clock a scene that you didn't expect and weren't aware that that is something that this series would ever do. Then when you have a much more clear cut, oh yeah, the story is about getting companions and getting them up. Like, we just met these guys in a bar and they're like, you know what? I know one of our members already knows you and is like an adoptive father to you, but we all like you. If anything, I feel bad that one guy's side quest involves us just basically solving the mystery him and his late father dedicated their lives to, and not cluing him in on the supernatural bullshit of which we casually possess. I feel like there's a thing here. That feels out of place. The jellies! Actually, I will take some of that. That is such a fun thing. Is that a trap? 100%. Is it a trap that they can both massively surprise you by throwing a shit ton of chew jellies at you? Something that the enemy, or that the player at any point should be able to just deal with, and also give them a quick healing item in the middle of a dungeon. Oh, I knew there was a reason I went down here. I freaking love Dark Nuts. Hey, Mecha. Get your items printed. Oh, we are now fighting two of them at once, and they have maces. They do not have movement speed, though. They don't need to if that's how I act. Okay, Mortal draw them. No, they're expecting it. What was I ranting about? I don't know. Oh yeah, about how I like these companions more than I like the Tears of the Kingdom one. I think the other part of it is I really like the aesthetic of this game, and I also really like steampunk, and they kind of just have it all in one. So I've always wanted the bomb cannon thing as a Zelda item. I guess you kind of get that in Tears, but I don't know, it doesn't feel the same without a whole bunch of random explosions and grisly bits. Like, energy cannon mounted on your shield, alright, but giant fucking shoulder thing that has impact and presence and looks like a whole production. Interesting. Darkness and this have very energy hungry. Yeah, I can see that. They really put their full chest in this. Like, they still have the massive, like the massive glacier of a presence with the heavy armor that acts as a full ass health bar. God. Wow, I do the shield bash perfectly, and then it's just like, nope, not enough. But they are also very brutal in this game. Which I think is what I like about them. Ooh, that's... Oh yeah, for sure. Although I would also say that that's intentional, since I know a little bit about the lore of you're not actually fighting. It's one of those games, Zelda is one of those games where it's perpetually, no matter how much it looks like you're fighting a dude, we assure you, you are never actually fighting a dude. That I think, aside from the one point there was a person inside the Darknut, a Darknut suit of armor. Can I do something silly? No. No, they literally dodge hop through it. But I think they're supposed to be like animated suits of armor. They just face tank it. Like, these dudes are heavy. They're intense. Like, this is, I'm probably losing more damage here than I did in any single boss fight. Like, I absolutely love Darknuts for the sheer reason that they feel like you actually have to fence a bit. Like, you have to wait for them to wind up, wait for them to attack in a way that you can sidestep or dodge. You can't just... These enemies do more to encourage players to not turtle behind their shield than most enemies in Dark Souls. Oh, shoot, he's not dead. I thought he was dead. Yeah, like, that and animated armors is, if I can't have full steampunk and robots, that's like one of my favorite, I wouldn't say monster types, but like fantasy, monster type for the sheer reason of entity that you might find in a compendium. 'Cause it's just cool. Cool to the point that whenever playing like D&D, I think I've made, seen, or like made homebrew or whatever. Yeah, skeleton in armor. It's basically a very similar thing. Also getting on with various tropes of just animated skeletons, which are also cool. But I don't have a bias. I definitely don't have a inlaid bias based off of various VTuber design. Let's just... I don't know what this is, but I want it. Oh wait, I know why I like animated armor to a high degree. Full Metal Alchemist was what... Oh, damn, Silver Ruby. But I can't fit it, of course. Jin Home Brewing Dark. I think I have? I've definitely seen stats for animated armor flat out that drew a bit from Warforged, but was still largely its own thing. But no, I think a big reason why I personally like animated armor, Full Metal Alchemist is one of my favorite animes. Al is just a great character in that. He's basically animated armor for that entire series. Oh yeah, I love that little detail. You don't really get to see it because I'm playing with my Wii sensor bar up couple inches from my chest. So it's really hard to point it out, but that's your Wii remote cursor. Just wherever you're pointing, it turns into a little fairy. Nice little way to have Navi without having to have Navi. But no, I also think that whenever I do get around to running a high fantasy anything, I probably will end up homebrewing something like Dark Nuts. Of course, the age-old warning whenever I get anything that involves an idea for tabletop is use it at wrong way. Use it at your own risk, because there's a non-zero chance it ends with anti-tank rifling, where I do not realize I am shooting at my players with what is the equivalent in either practically or literally an anti-tank rifle. Named, of course, after the time that I did 3 times the max damage to a player, because I did not realize an anti-tank rifle would hit as hard as an anti-tank rifle. Scoop. Double scoop. Idea for a different take on Link. Raising a graveyard instead of fairy. As an anti-fairy. Majora's Mask. Although, speaking of anti-Link, I believe there's already one out there. So, hear me out on this. Guts from Berserk is fundamentally the same character archetype as Link. He just has a bigger sword. Because think about it. The defining features of Guts is distinctive, unique sword, wandering around, causing and or solving problems for some greater scope, eternally recurring evil. Now, I mean the sculpt. Oh! I forgot that was a Zelda enemy. I would be down for Skullkid Link. Actually, given the general vibe of this game and how much they get away with a skybox full of bloom, I'd almost believe that for this Link. Oh. Eh? Oh. Yeah, there's a puzzle floor. Be interesting. It's raised by Ghosts and Pillows. Whole way. I honestly hope they do some nonsense like that. Like, I am so... Oh, that's also a fake floor. Good to know. I am so here for another Dark Fantasy Zelda. Because, like, this game had it, but ultimately it was just aping... a lot of it was the same... a similar vibe to Ocarina. How I say, as I am literally taking directions across the trapped room from ghosts. Ah, why did I go back? God damn it. But that would be so cool. Just be like, oh yeah, instead of going for the same flavor of Link, give or take a spin, but largely a very recognizable character. Like, give him a bit of personality. Make him a creepy goth. Do it. Oh, we're on the other side. Nice. Also, absolutely masterful work of the fact that they use the rats in that first section to be like, all right, here's something that the players have dealt with before and know what's it about. So they'll see that, know, right, I have to be Wolfling to shake these things off. Swap in just out of habit to be able to see them, see the ghosts, and be like, oh, I get the puzzle thing. Not just any personality, just a punk goth. Also down for that. Do I have to intentionally beef it once, or will Minna... That looks like a... Wait a second. No. I was so hopeful that there was going to be a spinner track. Oh, wait, this is better. Just a zoop. And a zoop. And zoop. Here's the spinner track. You really do get a feeling that this specific castle, they kept the first floor clear specifically for visitors. If they ever had to pretend that no, everything's perfectly fine. We are definitely not being puppeted by an evil king of darkness. And then they just did not give a fuck for the rest. Ads are going on. I'll be back in a sec. Wait. Alright, I think people are back. Probably. Perfect. Good enough for me. As I was thinking during the ad break of like the inverse of, oh, Studio Ghibli should make a Zelda movie to, all right, but is there any studio that should make a game of the movie? I'm like, wait, no. The reason everyone says that the Studio Ghibli should make a Zelda game is because Nintendo has been quietly admitting in various interviews through the years that a lot of the people who work on Zelda are fans of Ghibli and have been quietly already making games based off of that, or at least heavily inspired of like, and sometimes it's a bit more subtle because dang, this guy's going heavy. Because they're more obscure, because like before Ghibli got the notoriety of directing credentials, they had to start the way that a lot of studios do, which is making projects on existing media, doing not really covers, but like film adaptations. That's the word. God, this is so much easier when it's just a singular dark nut. And one of them, there's like an overly sarcastic video on it that if I had any idea that the conversation would go here, I would have linked. But you can go shop for shop between Wind Waker and an old Ghibli adaptation of Future Boy Conan, I think. To realize something, while it holds 600 rubies, right? That's the thing. I've also been thinking about this, and I have no freaking clue. Huh. Where's the... Oh, I missed some stuff on the first floor. It's fine. I have no clue, because the way the game frames it, it implies that it's like 600, judging from the pickup size, I'd say about the size of a cell phone, or like an 8-ounce, about the size of an 8-ounce pop can. It's 600 green rubies. However, practically speaking, you could get that in 3 silver rubies. There's an unknown number, an unknown amount of the wallet is purples, which can be done in like, what, 12 purples? Yeah, there's 50 each, so yeah, 12 purple rubies, 30 red rubies, a bunch of 5s, or 600 ones. So it's like, does Link just carry mixed currency? Like yeah, I got a couple hundreds, got 50, a couple 20s, some 10s, some 5s, and then like $20 worth of ones and for tips. Or are the wallets somewhat magical, which is why you can't just use any bag, and whatever you throw in, it like condenses down and always lets you pull out what you need for the transaction? It's unknown, but it is possible. I hate this on 2 levels, because at first I was going to say it is possible that the greatest weapon that Link has is a bag full of shiny rocks. And then I realized, oh wait, that's just the plot of Tingle's Wonderful Ruby Land. And then I got mad because I had to think about Tingle's. Wallet of Holding. It's a thing. Well, be careful with what X of holding you give players. I gave players a briefcase of holding as just a bag of holding skinned for the setting. Within a couple sessions, they solved a puzzle that I had of, you're in a library. One of these books is a hidden switch. They didn't even know there was a puzzle there. They had just successfully argued that the briefcase of holding and opened into an interdimensional void of infinite size, and that they had to just make sure everything was tied down or else risk losing it. And they stole the entire fucking library. Shelves and everything. They just shoved it all down into their briefcase. Didn't even know there's a puzzle. Didn't even know there's a hidden door. They skipped like half the dungeon because the idea was that they'd wander around this house Resident Evil style and then realize, wait, there's nothing here. But all these notes and logs say that there has to be something here. And mentioned a basement. We haven't found a way back. There must be a thing. Nope, they just stole it. Just pointy shiny rocks. That's true. They should bring back the ball and chain as just their wallet. Welcome to my castle. So you're Ganondorf. It would be a fun way to mess with them. When they reach out there, the chance to pull out an eye. No, there's a better way to mess with them. And I've had them roll for this, and the look of horror on their faces was really fun. It's important to note that this setting that they're playing in is entirely encased inside a small, like, 5x5 metal box. The backstory is like some existential argument of, if you had a box with all the universe in it, how would X, Y, or Z play out? I forgot what exactly I wrote for opening spiel. And then some idiot king millennia ago decided, like, you know what? I'll try that out for myself, and got everyone boxed. So there is a 1 in 100 chance when they reach into it, they pull out the box with their own universe in it. Nothing good will happen from that. But it's existentially terrifying enough that it gives them pause. It's funny. I've always told that I cannot actually balance combat well, but I can improve my storytelling to a point where I can hurt them emotionally. People has long amused me, Midna. To defy the gods with such petty magic, only to be cast aside. Very pathetic. Pathetic as they were, though, served me well. Their anguish was my nourishment. Hatred bled across the void and awakened me, drew deep of it and grew strong again. People had some skill, to be sure, but they lacked true power. So dude's just walking around with a hole in his heart. He does not care. Sheer fact that it's in there might be apocalyptic itself. Yes. The other funny thing is, due to a random set of events, one shot, 2 1-shots, and some other nonsense, we kind of have a running joke of things sometimes get thrown in the interdimensional void and end up in other places. Specifically, somehow, one of my characters, the one that, there's a bit more backstory for this, that I had a character who was a rogue that had a cursed earring that made the Kraken chase after him. He used to be a pirate. This entire campaign was set high in the mountains, and we had 2 pirates. 2/3 of our party were pirates. It was hilarious and completely unplanned, which also meant that the DM had to deal with the fact that they had to have the Kraken as a BBG in a landlocked, high-altitude area. Like, there was one lake that could be used, and a lot happened around it. So, at one point, that rogue got remove curse cast on him, which caused a lot of the earring that was growing through his body to suddenly retract, and of course killed him, as you do. And his soul got shunted off somewhere. And then I continued playing with that character's body as a myconoid, a fungus person, under the argument of, hey, what if new character thinks my old one is a god, worships them, and can I use the bones of a saint, which is in the player's handbook as a possible relic, as a holy focus for them. Yeah, that makes just stressing him out. Pretty much, that was the vibe. But also, it's important to note that as a joke, I rolled to see how... I rolled just a joke stealth check because I was doing a running bit of I would consistently roll like above a 25 because I spec'd heavily into stealth, and I'd just treat it as invisibility and pop up in random places that I logically should not have been able to stealth into. I rolled a natural 20 to sneak away from death. So my character was still alive and would randomly pop it back into his own body. And then we found out where he was when he wasn't in his own body. He was he was possessing the Kraken. He had become the Kraken. And which means sometimes when when they're sorting through their little set of loot in the interdimensional void in that campaign, they see like a squid way off in the distance. And like, that's concerning. I really hope that thing doesn't get anywhere closer. It's just one of my previous characters. They're just fucking around. Being as much of a weirdo as always. No, I absolutely love a D&D campaign that's gone through multiple people, DMs, and campaigns that gets to a point where it's so fucking weird. Like, I can't take I actually can't use the advice of several power game D&D strats, because it's like, no, we've gotten to a point where we can just like say shit and it's not the most outrageous thing we've ever done, so that becomes canon. Like, we regularly pull out minor magic items for convenience just because we think it's going to be more fun, and the level of some of the things that we have backed up and used before, it's just fun. Oh yeah, the first phase of the Ganon final boss. Not actually against Ganon. We Puppet Zelda as like a boss entity is conceptually one of my favorites, because it's also so fucking clear no one involved wants to fight this. The Pharaoh that likes to take weird random things, throw them in combat. Also has a box of holding. That box is a whole mansions of silverware, 10 iron bars, some books. Once tried to hit a were out of an astronomy book. I love that. It reminds me of my first character that I played with this group that was at the DM's direct request. Also, the setting's God of Chaos. At my goal, a stick of dynamite and the detonator. That is beautiful. Which I assume is just together. God, you think after every single time we've done this that Ganon would be a better tennis player. Oh, that's so perfect. There's one item that's in the Rift that we've never fully gotten rid of because everyone wants to use it as a plot hook. And the first time it was in the original one-shot that I ran that introduced the concept of the void between worlds and throwing things in to have an effect later. I called it, I think, the Plasma Warp. It was essentially a giant fuck-off bomb that had a blast radius and this was about how serious the one-shot was, the listed blast radius was the size of Cleveland. Honestly, it could be an even bigger menace. I support that. Like, menaces of all sizes are just fun. My biggest advice to anyone running or playing in a D&D game, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing on your character sheet. The most powerful thing you can do is something so far out of left field the DM has no idea how to respond and gets caught off balance and has to quickly improvise something in the middle of it. First of all, it's a lot more fun for everyone because you're both setting an example of, hey, you can just do things. You don't have to go by rules as written. This is a game where you can say, I want to do X, and I know from my knowledge of how things work that this is totally possible. I would like to do X. Literally the first D&D game I ever played, we went down to a basement. One of us got shot immediately and was bleeding out. I dragged him up the stairs and hey, we're in the back room of a bar. There has to be a bunch of really heavy kegs. The stuff of we get a delivery once a year and it has to go for months. I'd get one of those, roll it over the top of the stairs, light it on fire, and wait for the people who shot at us to come up these stairs and roll it down at them. It killed three people. Or one in a more recent game where we kept on getting jumped by things in a mansion. I casted sleep on the last enemy of the session before we called it quits. Picked it up, dragged it over to this vat of embalming fluid, and just put it in there and sat on the top until it drowned. Just because I'm nope, we have done enough combat. We're not doing this. Yes, the power of the curveball. Oh, sweet. Should juice the evil advert. So we got a mansion campaign organized. The rest of the team to angry mob and were fully intending to burn to the ground. He made small bars worth of a small bar's worth of Molotovs is the sentence of all time. But yeah, just getting that sort of improv and doing weird stuff. Oh. I think this is one of the last. This might be the last game in the series to actually use Dark Beast Ganon like this. Oh wow, this has a little bit of the Phantom Ganon boss fight. What? Do I just have to... What do I have to do? No, wait, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to talk to her. But no, that's actually, I think, a big reason why I'm distracted. What? All right. Wait. No, I can't handle him like a giant goat. I think I just have to slash at him when he comes by. But no, I think a big reason why for a lot of D&D games that I play in, I can't really... Maybe I just have to sidestep him. But it's just fun to cause that much improv and chaos of just say you do something, try things, try to keep people off balance, and see what happens. Maybe it's Beast versus Beast. You have anything? So I legit don't remember how to do this. The last part of the game is always the weakest. Oh! Oh, it is just that. Like, it can't be that simple as just throw him like an Ordon go. No, it is. You just have to be in wolf form. Because of course. But I also love how there's no, like, you don't need the Master Sword and its holy power here. You can just freaking maul him because he has a massive wound from the last time he tried something. Ow. Didn't hit quick enough. And it still hurts. But yeah, point is, if you're going to be doing something for tabletop, you can power game all you want, but it's much better to fuck around. It's really funny when I hear different stories from tabletop, because sometimes it'll be something like, yeah, we're really into combat and here's how you balance one, and I'm thinking, man, there has been several games where we had completely ignored the DM's combat and were so devastated by just other parts of it, or had almost or proven such a bigger danger to ourselves than any stat block that ever could be created. Oh, moved off the mark. Dang. It's almost combat is almost preferred. But like every time I hear somebody else's story of the tabletop, I realize how different each individual table is in terms of how they approach both DMing and also playing. It's interesting. Like, sometimes you'll get people who are really good at I moved off the market at combat to the point that they basically do a small game of Warhammer or other full-on tabletop war game for each session, and that's what they really like. And then there's some that they're like, yeah, there's equal parts fuckery and finding out, but we just kind of rolled with it. And then there's things like, yeah, I have a small bar worth of Molotovs. No idea what I'm going to do with, but someone's going to find out. It's interesting. I can see why a lot of games either have extremely strong roots to D&D or other tabletops, or like practically just remake tabletop rules and port them. Like pretty much every CRPG, if it's not, oh sweet, we're putting the Zelda back in Zelda. Actually, yeah, no, now that I think about it, a bunch of old CRPGs are flat out D&D modules. So one battle I really wanted to burn all enemies to death. Most of the opposing forces were in a wooden allied basement surrounded by wooden crates, and I wanted to light one of the crates upstairs, kick it down the ladder. Our other barbarian path giant ruled ruin that plan by smashing through the floor and getting down. That is so incredible. Okay, that line has a lot of implications. Your heart and mind was one, however briefly. So is it just that Midna was being possessed? Or that Zelda was just kind of bonded into there? And now phase 3, which, by the way, triggered my barbarian to go to mean mode and use as extra armor via human. That reminds me, there was a couple of times where I usually go for high dexterity. Oh, shoot. Save the imp. This isn't going to end well. But she looks satisfied. But yeah, I usually go for like either Dex Fighter, Rogue, or something that is mechanically strong, but not actually having a high strength stat. The thing is, though, I think I found out the balancing between strength and dexterity, because while dexterity has a lot of skills, if you have a high enough strength, the DM's Guide Player's Handbook lists like a 20 in a stat as near godlike. Yeah, like 10's average, 12 is somebody who's trained and physically conditioned, 14's like bodybuilder, 16 is, damn, that's strong, 18 is, all right, we're starting to get into legend territory, 20 is the only comparable person is like Hercules level. So with that in mind and a good argument, you can just pick up people and fucking throw them. Oh, shit. I really hope Midna was not in that hat when he got it. So my barbarian's a former actor. He critiqued that enemies playing dead to try to go on. Intimidated them into not resisting the grapple. God. That's the other thing. The fact that so much of D&D has a lot of social stuff being listed on a single stat roll, which is succeed or fail. Because D&D, the way that it's set up, it's really easy to fail a check. Compared to like Savage Worlds or other systems, you can, as a DM, there are levels you can set your DCs to be reasonably sure that a character will probably fail. For Savage Worlds, you have to plan with the idea that characters will usually succeed on a check. Because for Savage Worlds, you need a 4 on a D1 or 12, depending on your skill, in order to succeed. And you can't put penalties, like a -8 on a check is extremely hard. However, a character with a D4 in the skill can still pass, because if you get a 4 or the max roll on any dice, the dice explode, which means you roll again and add them together. I've had people with a 20 or with a D4 in the skill manage to get like a roll of 20 or higher because they kept on rolling 4s. Which I don't know where I was going with this, but the point is... Actually, no, I've completely forgotten the point. and I don't know what I was talking about. But if anyone remembers what I was, infer the point from that. I think it was probably something about how... Oh, yeah, oh, right, I remember that. With that in mind, they explicitly call out that the social conversation system that you would normally use, like intimidation, persuasion, deception, all the charisma skills in D&D for, is not a pass and they like you or believe you if you're trying to lie to them. It's they have a default opinion of you going into there. Of like, if they're neutral to you, they don't really care either way. If you pass a skill check, a contested skill check against them, their opinion goes up to the next level. They're not immediately going to just give in, but it's like you essentially have to do multiple skill checks with good arguments to actually prompt that skill. Oh wait, I have to do a blade clash? Which I like that system a lot better. I've actually thought of doing a similar thing for stealth, of where instead of oh, you failed your stealth check, they got a better roll on you than you, they know where you are. It's like, ooh, cross counter. It's like, okay, you failed your first roll and they beat you. That means they have an idea that something's going on and that someone is here. They don't know where you are, but they're starting to, they're like at the, was that the wind, or is there something actually here? Or, damn rat's always making a noise. Should we check it out? Probably not. If you fail again, they start getting more and more alerted, but it's not until you like fail 5 times or something. I forget what I had said it towards the initial draft of that. Ah. Am I changing the grip explicitly so I can mash the buttons faster? Yes, of course I am, because that's what you do with one of these. It's just harder with a Wii remote because that thing's a freaking stick. But I think one of the weaker parts of D&D is that the way a lot of it's probably not even set up this way, because like most people, I have not read the player's handbook and do not intend to. I also don't even own the DM's guide and have ran multiple one-shots and I think even tried a campaign or two. He can just block that. So I don't actually know how the rules are. Part of my means of fucking with the DM is actually reading the rules and saying like, hey, so this is just a thing I can do? Like, I swear, if there's rules in D&D for taking a 20 on something, or taking a 10 or 20, which I saw in like a 3.5 modern add-on and immediately loved the rule. It's basically like, all right, I'm doing something that doesn't have a... I thought I could. It like doesn't have a necessarily fail condition. It's like if you're picking a lock and are reasonably sure that you're not being interrupted, or you have 10 minutes, you can take 10 minutes and take the average or roll. It's basically saying, like, realistically, there's no way that a fail would prevent me from trying again. I'm just going to try until I get the dead even of a roll. Like the original idea between rogues, if you roll below a 10 on a skill that you have, that you're proficient in, you just take a 10, is basically you take less time to, you can take a 10 in less time than normal. The other version is taking a 20, which is like, we have a small locked treasure box and we got it back to base. We're just going to fiddle with this until we get it open. Which I think that one, it said it took an hour. It's been a while, and it's also 3.5 rules, so I don't really remember. Like, that's just saying there is zero penalty for failing, and there's no reason that you can't just try again. So you're just going to work on it in a professional manner until you're done. And that's a rule that I think more places should just deal with. Although I keep on going off to the side when I see him coming towards me because my natural instinct's to circle. Also, the fact that Ganondorf has a lot of Darth Vader vibes for this, of just how the camera angle has him framed as taller. Like, the fact that the game consciously made an effort to say, like, all right, we're making the target focus on his head, even though Link specifically will be striking at his chest, just to sell how freaking imposing this dude is a vibe. Because it's something I noticed. A lot of Nintendo villains, they either change every single installment of, like, you cannot shield bash him, and you'll get wow. The Ganon fights kind of do devolve into a small, obviously unmatched swordsman gets his ass beat for quite some time, but also does just enough damage to barely do it. Like, flavor obvious check fail, like, for investigation might say my character's nose to floors. Indeed. That's a funny one too, of, yeah, I don't know how you failed this, but you did somehow. Hang on, I need some water. I did it again. Where's one hit away? Damn. They could have done some better. The Zelda team is a little bit weak in facial animation, but, you know, we can't all be perfect. Just needed one more hit. That's all it needed. God. The GameCube era Zelda games were like, I don't care what our rating says. We are putting a sword straight through that man in the most painful way. Wind Waker put it through his head. This game put it through his chest. Not think this ends here. History of Light and Shadow will be written in blood. Ah, shit, he's out of charge. God, this is a good game. For some reason in the Wii era, the devs were like, hey, can we get a bit of money? You know, oh yeah, sure, you're going to use it to develop next-gen games using our motion gimmick? Sure. Spends it on writing staff instead and makes some of the best storylines for Nintendo series ever. Like Mario Galaxy, great. Twilight Princess, I think has better writing, has some of the best writing in the series. They just kind of went for it. And then, of course, with Mario Galaxy, they said, no, you can't have story in a Mario game. You have to make Galaxy 2 just be story light level pack. And we were all worse off for it. And if it's making a Zelda game, I could have jump scared with Ganon. Just imagine, gets down, laughs, springs to his feet, stumble and fall, and sort of already. They can and should make Ganon an absolute fucking juggernaut. Because that's his whole thing. Ah, thanks for that, Slaps. I also hope your tabletop night's going well, Minx. But, like, dude has a Triforce of power. They can fucking send him through anything. Thanks for the daily check-in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just Link going through phase after phase. Also, best supporting character design, period. Another thing, the Wii era also, for some reason, had a bunch of tall supernatural women for some reason. Like we get true form Midna at the end of this game, and then you get Rosalina from Galaxy that has. They're just like, you know what? We're going to make a good story that'll make people think, I didn't know you could do that in a Nintendo game. And we're also going to give a whole generation of gamers a thing for tall women. Soft set of. I would not describe my own voice as soft, but you do you. I'm glad you're having a great night. What else was I saying? Oh yeah, one thing I noticed is that throughout the entire Zelda series, a lot of long-term running antagonists get like the Bowser treatment. As true as it's a tall woman era. Never thought of it that way. I am just saying things and making connections in real time and not stopping to process what's coming out of my mouth. But it's true. They're just like, you know what? Tall women in our games. Do it. But no, a lot of Nintendo, or not even Nintendo, like long-running franchises get to a point where it's either like Bowser. It goes from threat, still a threat, still evil, downgrade, into a point where he's either, no, we're going to make him threatening again, or he's mostly just a grump more than anything. Where they want to still have the character, but they also want to do new things and new villains, so they downgrade the threat, and more often than not, they have them ally with the main characters. Like a good example is, ironically enough, Eggman. Like, for a series that was Mario's rival for a long time, they also did this really well, where like early 2D Sonic games, from what I've seen, same thing, credible threat. If there's a villain, it's going to be Eggman, because that's what he does. Later games like Sonic Adventure 2, I believe, and definitely Sonic Frontiers, those games usually do a thing where there's suddenly a bigger threat and Eggman is on the hero's side. Bowser's become Mario's friend at this point, and that's largely because of the RPG games. Like Super Mario RPG, first game where a big gimmick of that was Bowser joins your party. And then the Paper Mario games, because of their whole, like in the design doc, they have, I always forget there's a chest under that bridge until I see the chest in the ending slideshow. But like they say, the point was we were taking the characters and what characterization they had from various sources and flattening it to paper thin. And as part of that, you start to get Bowser as a grumpy dad sort of vibe, which I'm all there for, because there was like little breadcrumbs that got solidified with the RPGs that Bowser is 100%, as much as he does evil for his own goals, he's also like, he's just a dad energy. Like, he's a father to his men, and I love it. Robotnik's such an interesting character. He's a clown. He's also a massive threat. They just haven't been writing him as well anymore. Yeah, which I've heard is a big thing with Sonic. At least with Bowser, he does swap between, like, the Paper Mario series has kept him as a sort of a dork. Galaxy made him a threat. Like, the RPGs usually don't have him as much of a threat because they do their own thing. But I remember someone pointed out that, yeah, Bowser just casually conquers the entire universe twice. That just happens. And most of the time, it's just that he doesn't want that much. Like, I'm pretty sure Mario Wonder, if I'm remembering it right, was more of a plot of, yeah, I'm doing something fun for Junior. Or he keeps on making amusement parks and more jazzy themed levels just because. Like, Bowser, I feel like the way he's written is he can do a ton of stuff. He just doesn't want to. Whereas I'd like to see a Sonic where Robotnik is much more of a threat. Because I do feel like they kind of have flattened him down to being more goofy than evil. Which brings back to the point of this rant that a lot of long-running villains get flattened like that. They become less of a threat because people want different things, but they still want to use a character. Ganondorf hasn't really had that. He's been pretty consistently the biggest problem in the room, and honestly, I would love to see something where he's just... I know it's a cold take and kind of uninspired of they should make this game but a horror game, and that doesn't really work well. Gestures directly at Doom 3, the worst received game in the Doom's franchise, is also a total horror game. But taking some of the stylings and vibes, which I think would push it more into dark fantasy, back to there again, you can do a lot with the Terminator sort of vibes, right? Because the original Terminator was technically a horror movie of this unrelenting, unstoppable thing just chasing after you. And you can 100% apply that to Ganon, who, with what the series has gone to, 100% has the vibes of more anger and malice than a person anymore. So Robotnik's a devil. It should be written like that. Any deal with him's Faustian bargain no one fully understands. Robotic forces are immense and ambitions bottomless. And he'll make you laugh all the while. Yeah, like, it's... The vibe I get off of him is they're playing old school cliched mad scientist 100% straight. But what they really need to do with him is it's like the inverse trope of Hijacked by Ganon, where every Zelda game will inevitably come back to Ganon being the true big bad. In that Sonic has an issue where Robotnik starts out being the initial big bad, then they pull the rug under you, and there's a secondary one that's worse and also kind of plays him for a fool. But it would be nice to have it be like, oh no, this guy is the smartest guy in the room. He's like kind of a distillation of a twisted perversion of all of the main characters, that he is ambitious, intelligent, unrelenting, and also has you figured out. Like, I know there's an egg memo from Sonic Frontiers just because I was watching a friend's stream when that came out, and they got to a point where they're like, wait, there's lore in the fishing minigame? Well, I need to 100% in this game. I'm getting all that. And like got them all in one stream. And I remember there's one where he just like goes down the list of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, Shadow, everyone. And it's like, all right, you guys are so fucking easy to figure out and understand and manipulate. This is like the exact psychological profile on every one of you, and I know and have gotten you to do exactly what I've wanted or needed to several times. Light and Shadow can't mix, but it'd be so nice if they brought Midna back, or at least a Twilight in some form. So I also hate to say it, but I feel like there's never forget there's another world bound to this one. Ironic, because I feel like Nintendo did not like what they put out for the like late GameCube, early Wii era. But, like, they didn't like the direction the story was heading, or they didn't feel like there's any worth revisiting the concept. A lot of Zelda, there's a lot of Zelda characters they could use, like Varen. Or, God, yeah, there's that whole era of games that descended or took more after Link to the Past, that all those games didn't use Ganon initially. They had some other sorcerer like Vaati or the like. But I suppose that does go along with my theory that there isn't a timeline of Zelda games, right? There's not like, oh yeah, Link to the Past happened, then Ocarina happened, and then in this timeline, Wind Waker happened, this one had Twilight Princess, this one had whatever. My theory is this event only ever happened once. Like, we have one instance of it, and the story is broadly, heroic kid in green did some nonsense, got these sacred treasures, got this stuff, and then beat this evil we know as Ganon. And it's just that legend being retold in different ways. Which kind of makes sense. Like, I'm basing that entirely on how Greek myth has been told again and again in many different ways. Like, you have the original, you have the original but told in like its actual designed to be told way of being recited as a rhythmic poem. Then you have a very dry, old but accurate translation, one that's meant to be much more approachable to modern readers, one that merges approachability and accuracy, parodies, Percy Jackson, and things like Hades, where it's not really accurate. It has a lot of history and research behind it, but it's still meant for fun. Just a Zelda game that sets in between Ganon Returns. No threat. That would be interesting, right? I get the idea behind that of just here's here's something that actually no, I think I get the idea that there's no threat of him returning. There's a start of a threat. Or some villain trying to fill the void themselves. Where it looks close enough. Although the DS games had that sort of vibe. Like, Phantom Hourglass was completely divorced from Ganon entirely. Like, they had dealt with Ganon. They left him on the seabed in the area where Wind Waker happened. They're just faffing around trying to find a new landmass, and we ran into the whole issue of Mushroom Kingdom's a death world, of where, like in Mario setting games, you can't go 5 feet without tripping over some massively dangerous conspiracy or entity. Like Wario, like all the Wario Land games are ostensibly set in the same universe as Mario. Same with Donkey Kong. And they just find enough evil and malice and malicious dudes to entertain themselves just fine without reusing mainline. Like, which is also an interesting idea of, yeah, this world's so dangerous and steeped in inherent darkness and evil. Sometimes shit happens. Wasn't even our fault. Ganon wasn't even involved. Actually, there's a few games like that. Link's Awakening's another one. Yeah. That one is just Link's trying to get across an ocean, and shit happens. Also no Ganon or Thread again. Like the whole... Now that I think about it, you're either dealing with Ganon or you're dealing with this deep existential dread. I'm gonna suspect Mushroom Kingdom is more protected by Wario than Mario, mostly because he's out running headlong into tombs and stuff and finding evils at this. Yeah, it's not intentional on Wario's part, not by a long shot. It's my theory is that Mushroom Kingdom is such a death world that they don't fucking notice how often the world's almost destroyed, right? Like, think about it. The only time Luigi directly gets involved with Mario on his ventures is either as a optional 2-player game or game mode of where, yeah, Luigi can tag along if he wants to. Not forcing him. Like, we don't, no matter what's happening in the plot, we don't feel like he needs to be there. Or, in the case of Superstar Saga, literally is dragged along into the adventure. Like, all the Paper Mario games until Super Paper Mario, you could find Luigi either in Thousand Year Door off on his own epic adventure, or you could find him at home saying like, nah, you got this. I know the princess has been captured, but you got this. Like, my theory is the entire main cast views adventures and end of the world level threats as fun. They're just fun for them. I suspect Waluigi is one of the existential threats because he can violate physics. I would totally believe that. Like, that's just the vibe Waluigi has. He is a creature, a cryptid. Also, some not even related to Wario, just some dude they knew. No, like, my theory is that pretty much everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom has no fear of death to the point that, like, take Mario Party minigames. The boards and the mini games involve so much direct personal duress and trauma, and they do it for fun. Like, they treat falling in lava as a fail condition for a mini game with the same level of severity as not being able to match a couple of cards right, or taking bombs and bullet bills all over. They willingly get shot, blown up, dunked in lava, squashed flat, hit by a boulder, and other incredible trauma, and they treat it the same way with the same severity as like a match 3 game, or like which one of these 4 things is the odd one out. They are so casually invincible, they just don't give a fuck about the danger. Like, the whole idea of calling Mushroom Kingdom a death world is just how often they get into massive danger, and how little they care. You know, that explains Mario villains. You either have to be astoundingly powerful or both. Exactly. Like it's at a point where where like Mario and Luigi games, Luigi being there is largely coincidental. It's just the case that he's convenient and either is forced to tag along or wants to be there. Like whenever the world is threatened, they have zero reaction, which is a little bit existentially terrifying. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it here for tonight, just because I did have a day of all time, and I'm pretty sure I'm running on adrenaline instead of actual energy, so I probably shouldn't be. So we're going to be rating Shiro. I don't have the brain power to try and pronounce the full name, but she's playing Tears of the Kingdom. Pretend like I don't casually say stuff about that game and don't normally get chat in depth, and it's kind of no problem at all. I kind of like going in depth on random things. Like, as far as I see it, the ADHD tag is there explicitly to warn, like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. We're just kind of going with whatever. So if I get like a tangent, there are many times where I'm like, wait, I never finished my thought about this, and that I thought was kind of interesting. But then I got distracted by this and went more in depth, so it's fun. Anyway, I don't know I'm going to stream next just because life. I'm going to try some next week, but I might also take the week off. We'll see what happens. Check Blue Sky, check Discord. Do I even have a socials command? I don't know. You're being rated out, so good luck, everyone.